All About Eve is a 1950 film written and directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz, starring Betty Davis, Ann Baxter, and a relatively unknown Marilyn Monroe in one of her first film roles. The film went on to garner 14 Oscar nominations, finally winning 6. What was unique about the film's Oscar nominations? Let me repeat the question. All About Eve is a 1950 film written and directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz, starring Betty Davis, Ann Baxter, and a relatively unknown Marilyn Monroe in one of her first roles. The film went on to garner 14 Oscar nominations, finally winning 6. What is unique about the film's Oscar nominations? This is an audience question for this week's episode, sent in to us by our regular listener, Mr. Arjun Srikumar. I will answer this question at the end of today's episode. Welcome to Are You Quizzing Me, your favorite quizzing and trivia podcast show. This is episode number 120. Cue the music.
Welcome to Are You Quizzing Me? I am Vineet Nair with my co-host Aditya Kashyap. This is a quizzing trivia podcast show. Join us as we dive deep into history, science, pop culture, and so much more. Let's get quizzing.
Okay. So, Aditya, let's start off today's episode with a question that I have for you. This is one that I have specifically curated for the movie lover in you. More specifically, the Bollywood movie lover in you. Are you ready?
I can't wait.
I need more energy here. Come on. A little more energy. Pump up. Where's the Josh?
I want to try this again, okay? I want to try this again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna swoop into this.
Yeah.
Woo! Let's go!
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to give you a list.
Okay.
You love lists, right? So I'm going to give you a list of actors and movie names. You have to tell me what the connection is.
Okay.
So the actors are Amitabh Bachchan, Deewar being the movie, Dharmendra, the movie being Bazi, Pran in Tufan, Kader Khan in Yarana, Sanjay Dutt, Hatiyar, Mithun Chakraborty, Guru, Amrish Puri, Halchal, Rishi Kapoor, Jhoota Kahin Ka, Bobby Deol, Barsat, Danny Denzogpa, Sangram, Monish Bair, Itihas, Aditya Pancholi, Jung, Kareena Kapoor, Talaash. I don't think this is a complete list, but
It's interesting because each of these films has some trivia attached to it. I think you mentioned Amrish Puri and was that Halchal?
Mm-hmm.
Amrish Puri Halchal, if I'm not wrong, that is his last film. But then that's obviously not true for any of the other actors.
I don't think Pran's alive, neither is Kader Khan.
Well, Amitabh Bachchan, Bobby Deol, Kareena Kapoor Khan. Kareena Kapoor in Talaash. Spoiler alert, please skip ahead if you haven't seen it. Kareena Kapoor in Talaash plays a dead woman, a ghost. But then again, that's not true for any of the other actors in the films, or at least most of them.
Mithun Chakraborty, yes.
Amitabh Bachchan in Deewar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. This is not a list I expected to go where it did. So I have no idea at all,
Okay, honestly, I was so excited to make up this question after I saw it on Reddit that I did not think of any clues to give you. And honestly, I don't think there are many clues I can give you, apart from the fact that maybe you should think about Amitabh Bachchan and Deewar.
Okay.
That and Bobby Deol and Barsat. Because there is a good chance that you may know what I'm talking about by focusing on these two combinations, or maybe even Mithun Chakraborty and Guru.
Mithun Chakraborty in Guru, he plays a mentor. He also has a press.
No. Okay, you're going cold.
Okay, so nothing to do with the film itself, not the storyline.
Okay. So let me just rephrase what I said. Maybe this rephrasing will help you pick it up. Instead of saying Amitabh Bachchan in Deewar, I'm going to say Amitabh Bachchan and Deewar, Mithun Chakraborty and Guru, Bobby Deol and Barsat, Kareena Kapoor and Talaash.
No, it doesn't help at all. I love it when, as a question setter or the person asking the question, you're like, oh, my clue is so obvious.
Yeah, I know.
And then at the other end, you're like, none of it makes sense.
Yeah, no, this is not an obvious clue. I was just maybe thinking that it might help you kind of think of this.
Okay, you know what? Let me try this a little bit more.
I'm going to give you one clue. Okay, so this is related to Amitabh Bachchan and Deewar.
Mhm.
And the clue is the following sentence.
Go for it.
Let's bring our heroes home.
Let's bring our heroes home. Deewar. Deewar is not a remake of some American film. Let's bring our heroes home sounds like a dialogue from an American film.
Oh, I'm so enjoying this. This is such delicious ambiguity. But I would disagree when you say that Deewar is not a remake.
Oh, okay, I did not know that it is a remake.
Yeah.
But then again, let's bring our heroes home. Firstly, I'm not sure where the dialogue is from. And also doesn't seem very relevant.
Look, it's not a dialogue. I'm not saying it's a dialogue.
Oh,
Think about the movie itself.
okay.
Another combination may have made this list, but because of a small change, I decided to leave it off.
Yeah, Vineet.
That combination would have been
Okay. Okay.
Amitabh Bachchan and Sholay.
I can.
Because of a last minute change, otherwise, this would also have been on the list.
I don't know. Let's bring our heroes home. Like, should we let the hero of the film shoot in their hometown? Is the only random connect that is coming to me. I don't know.
No. Okay. No.
I do remember Guru. I remember Talaash. I remember Deewar. Some of the other films also, I think, definitely rung a bell. Okay, you know what? Let me ask you a pointed question. Is it something to do with the plot line of the film?
No.
Okay, is it something to do with the production of the film?
No.
All right, then is there any other clue you can give me? Because otherwise I'm done.
Okay, well, last and final clue. I mentioned that Amitabh Bachchan and Sholay would have been on this list, but it finally ended up not being on the list because Ram Gopal Varma made a last minute decision.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, this would also probably have been on the list.
Ram Gopal Varma, the only connection to Sholay is Ram Gopal Varma Ki Aag, which is a remake. And he cast.
Now, what did he decide not to do? There was a court case also that went along with it.
I think there was something to do with the naming of it.
What did he originally want to name it?
Oh, did you just want to name it Sholay? I actually don't know this. I don't know this at all.
Yeah, he wanted to name it Sholay.
Okay. So he changed it to. So Deewar is a remake of another film called Deewar?
No, you're just there. Just think about it. I mentioned Amitabh Bachchan and Sholay would have been on this list if Ram Gopal Varma had named his movie Sholay. You're just there. You're on the precipice.
Have they acted in 2 movies with the same name?
Yes. So this list is of actors who have acted in 2 movies of the exact same name. Bobby Deol in Barsat, he hit his famous debut with Vidhu Chopra. He also acted in a forgotten movie of the 2000s called Barsat. Similarly, Amitabh Bachchan acted in the famous Deewar, his star-making role. He also acted in a reasonably forgotten movie of the mid-2000s called Deewar, Let's Bring Our Heroes Home, which was a remake of The Great Escape. It was set on Indian soldiers being held as Pak POWs. Similarly, Mithun Chakraborty acted in 2 movies called Guru. You remember the one with Abhishek Bachchan? There's a movie much before which was named Guru, in which he acted. Similarly, Kareena Kapoor acted in 2 movies called Talaash. The first one, which you all remember as you very cleverly spoiled on the show, was the one where she acted with Amir Khan. There was a movie much before that in which she acted with Akshay Kumar, which was an action film called Talaash.
I know this. I knew this Talaash thing I knew. Oh my god, but there are 2 Deewars? I had no idea that there's another film called Deewar.
There are 2 Deewars. Deewar, Let's Bring Our Heroes Home. That's the tagline of the movie.
Why would Amitabh Bachchan decide to do that to his iconic film?
Why would Amitabh Bachchan decide to act in a remake of Sholay of all movies?
Amitabh Bachchan has enough star power to be like, you know what, I'll do the film, I love the script, whatever XYZ reason he did it. Just, he could have asked to change the name from Deewar. Like, why would he want to? Oh, that is a very strange choice. That is a very strange choice.
Yeah. But all of these people that I mentioned in the list, they've all acted in multiple movies or actually in 2 movies, at least 2 movies with the same name. And those are the movies on the list.
That is a great piece of trivia. My God, I would not have gotten that.
Shout out to Reddit, by the way. I found it on Reddit.
Cool. Reddit. Pretty cool source of trivia, actually. I do find a lot of trivia on Reddit. But that's amazing. That is truly a very fun question.
Okay. Hit me.
You know what? Since you did give me a film question, I'm going to hit you with my recent favorite piece of trivia related to Hollywood that I've discovered.
Okay.
What is amazing to me is that how did I not know of this before?
I anticipate a good one.
Actually, I'm a little worried that because it is such a cool piece of trivia, you might know the answer. But just in case you don't or any member of our audience doesn't, it's fine even if this becomes a very quick question just because it's so cool. Okay, enough build up. Let's do this.
Okay.
This piece of trivia actually starts in the Roman era and with a specific object called a word square. Let me quickly explain what a word square is in case you're not familiar. A word square consists of a set of words written out in a square grid such that the same words can be read both horizontally and vertically.
Okay.
And an example in front of me, which is obviously not the square in question, but just an example. It says heart, ember, abuse, resin, trend.
Mm-hmm.
So if heart was written and then right below it, ember, each letter below the previous, abuse right below it, resin below it, and trend, you could also read heart, ember, abuse, resin, and trend vertically as well as horizontally.
Mm-hmm.
In case that's not clear with my explanation, I would suggest go look it up and that would make a whole world of sense.
Okay.
This particular word square, a very famous word square. In fact, in 2022, the Encyclopedia Britannica called it the most familiar lettered square in the Western world. Let's call it X for the purpose of our question. X contains a 5-word Latin palindrome. So these words are not necessarily translated to English or aren't necessarily English words, but they are in the same script so an English speaker can pronounce them, can read this particular square.
Okay.
It has been discovered in multiple Roman era sites over the ages, including at Pompeii, which I believe was one of the earliest discoveries. Here's the fun part of the trivia. This very famous word square is related to an extremely famous Hollywood film. In fact, it kind of informs the central premise of this Hollywood film. Vineet, do you want to take a guess as to what this word square is? And also what the movie is in question.
A very famous Hollywood film you mentioned.
I did.
I can't think of any word square. When you started the question, I was thinking of, you're talking about maybe some production house has that in their logo or something like that. But you mentioned a movie. Latin has to appear. So I'm guessing it must be a period film. Roman, famous. I have no clue why, but is it Gladiator?
Decent guess, though I would say a little cold, simply because it isn't the most obvious connect. It isn't a Latin connect in the sense that it isn't from that part of history or anybody in the film is speaking in Latin per se. But because this is a 5-word square, because the square consists of 5 words, each of these words plays an important role in the film.
Really famous movie.
Oh, so famous. Like, if you go onto YouTube and you type movie essay, I can guarantee you there will be at least one of the essays will cater to this film in your search result.
Okay, that leaves The Godfather and Citizen Kane.
Okay, I think a little bit more recent than that.
Have I seen this movie? Because there are certain glaring gaps because I just don't end up watching some movies. So is it a movie I've seen? Do you know if I've seen it?
I'm going to say with 99% certainty that you have seen this movie.
Okay.
In case I am wrong and 1% is actually true, I can safely say episode 120 is our last episode.
Okay.
Till you see this movie. And only then will I record another episode with you.
Okay. Dhamki.
Honestly, it's not even one of my favorite films. I don't know why I'm making it such a big deal. But yeah, it's a popular film for sure.
I am lost.
Okay, lovely. I'm so glad that this was not cracked right off the bat because you're going to enjoy this piece of trivia. My God, I'm building it up so much. Now, let me go back to my example.
Okay.
Heart, ember, abuse, resin, trend. I guess these are 5 random words, but if somebody was to make some meaning out of it, I guess heart could be love.
Okay.
And you could make some sentence or some translation out of these 5 words combined. So similarly, the 5 words in our square in question X, I'm going to give you the most direct sentence translation of those 5 words as if they made sense. They don't necessarily make sense, but if they were to make sense, it would say the sower or the farmer Arepo holds the wheels with care.
The farmer Arepo holds the wheels with care. Why are Dan Brown movies flashing in my head? But I'm fairly sure this has got nothing to do with Dan Brown.
I would not judge you too much if you had not seen Angels and Demons. So no, this is not a Dan Brown film.
Yeah, no, because I am an ambigrammist. For a long time, there were very few of us in India. So, dude, I'm blanking completely. The farmer Arepo. Farmer Arepo. And these words play a part in the plot of the movie?
Very much do, yes.
Oh, God. What are we talking about here? This is very, very weird.
Okay, I love it. I'm loving it so far.
Okay.
Here is where it gets a little bit more interesting.
Okay.
As opposed to the example where I said heart, ember, abuse, resin, trend, this one kind of forms a palindrome. And let me explain how it is a palindrome. Say in our example, if the first word is A, B, C, D, E, the last word would be E, D, C, B, A. And then the next line was F, G, H, I, J. So the fourth word would then become J, I. Oh my God, this is so difficult to do the other way around. H, F, G. Okay, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Okay, I get what you're saying, but it doesn't help me at all. Give me something about the movie itself. No, let me see. Give me something about the movie itself. Maybe that's going to help.
This is where I'm going to tell you something about the movie. If the first word is mirrored in the last one, the second word is mirrored in the fourth word, what do you think happens to the third word?
It's a palindrome in itself.
Do you know which 5-letter word is a palindrome?
Is this tenet?
It is tenet. This is tenet. Right?
Why are the... Wait. I've seen Tenet.
Of course you have seen Tenet.
Yes, but I'm... Is it chapter names or something? I don't...
No. Okay, so now, are you ready to have your mind blown open?
Okay, please do.
The first word is Sator. Sator, Sator.
Okay.
Do you remember Sator from the film?
Not so much. I watched the film, I remember the plot of the movie, but this does not ring a bell immediately.
Alright, that's alright. Okay, you know what? I was hyping up the movie too much. It's not my favorite Christopher Nolan film by any means, but it is a very popular film and it is something that people have made like endless video essays about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in the dynamics of the film, but for character development, it wasn't such a great movie.
As are a lot of Nolan films, but we digress. Kenneth Branagh's name is Andre Sator.
Okay, yeah.
He's the one who is basically the main antagonist in the film.
Yeah.
The next word in it is Arepo.
Opera.
Do you remember where Arepo featured in this?
The opera house.
Actually, opera is the fourth word. The opera is where the
opening and the ending, the closed loop starts there, yeah.
Arepo is the last name of an unseen Spanish art forger who copies 2 of Goya paintings and they become blackmail fodder early in the film.
Wow.
So you got the first word Sator, the second one is Arepo. The third one was Tenet, which is the name of the film.
Yeah.
And the fourth word, like you guessed already, is opera. Which is the opening scene of the film.
Okay.
And the last word is
Rotas.
And Rotas, I believe, is the name of the company that Sator runs.
Oh, okay.
That's his multi-billion-dollar whatever conglomerate that he is the CEO or chairman of. So these 5 words feature prominently in the movie Tenet.
Nice.
The idea of that palindrome and the words reversing in and of itself is also pretty much what the movie is about, the pincer operation and everything.
Yeah.
literally Christopher Nolan took this beautiful piece of history and incorporated. I must give him absolute props. Not that he's waiting for me to give him props, but I must give him props. He did incorporate it well into the film because it kind of delivers on the promise of Tenet.
Yeah.
And also the other 4 words also feature in an interesting way. And just because I mentioned what the translation was, and I guess it is a little difficult to understand because I assume you don't speak Latin.
Nobody speaks Latin anymore. It's a dead language.
I am sure there is somebody who is obsessed and wants to learn how to speak Latin. But anyways.
No, I mean, like, there are people who know how to speak it, but it's not a conversational language. So that's why it's called a dead language.
I guess you can have 2 nerds just talking to each other in Latin. But anyways, coming back to this. Arepo, again, nobody really knows what that means. So they assume Arepo could be a proper noun. And hence the name of the farmer is Arepo. So Arepo, the farmer. Setor means farmer.
Okay.
Arepo, the farmer, holds or guides, which is Tenet.
Tenet.
Yeah. The wheel, which was rotas.
Okay.
With care or with skill, which is opera.
Opera. Okay.
These are the 5 Latin words that kind of translate and give us that sentence that I mentioned earlier.
Nice.
That's what the Sator Square is. And this piece, it literally blew my mind. Considering how much Christopher Nolan films are discussed and how much I have probably watched video essays discussing it, I can't believe I had not encountered this before. Sator Square.
Because I'll be very honest with you. Of all the Christopher Nolan movies in his oeuvre, I enjoyed Tenet as a visual spectacle, but it's probably one of the only Christopher Nolan movies which I've not watched more than once. I've seen Interstellar, like, I don't know, God knows how many times. The Batman trilogy a number of times. Oppenheimer I've seen maybe twice. But Tenet I've only watched once. I'm going to look out for this next time.
The only Christopher Nolan film I've seen once is Dunkirk. I have seen Tenet, I think, twice. Because I was like, you know what, I really want to understand it. Like most Christopher Nolan films, it did make a little bit more sense at the second viewing, but it didn't make it a significantly better film for me.
Yeah.
It was okay, good.
It was a little bit of an indulgent film.
I think a lot of his films are indulgent. A lot of his films are very indulgent.
Yes, but most of the time what happens is that indulgence kind of helps the plot.
I recently rewatched Memento. Something in me really, it kind of reawakened that part which is convinced that Memento is not just Christopher Nolan's best, but it's also one of the best films in the last few decades. That's the film where I feel like he used that time thing that he loves to do so well and so like almost truthfully and honestly to the story of the film that it just, oh God, it blows my mind every time I think about it. In any case, if you haven't seen Memento, please go watch it. It is my top recommendation, pop culture recommendation of all time, always. Okay, but this was a long question. I hope you enjoyed it because I absolutely enjoyed this piece of trivia.
Definitely. I am now going to, now I have the impetus to watch Tenet once again just so that I can see if I can make that connection properly kind of fixed in my head. So, moving on from pop culture and movies to something a little more literary.
Okay.
In 1987, the Youth Association, Now Yuga, established a double literary prize named after the poet Rahman Khan.
Okay.
As I mentioned, it's a double literary prize. So one prize was awarded to someone who had made a significant contribution to literature, linguistics, or criticism specific to the language X.
Okay.
The second of the 2 awards was awarded in the category of general linguistics, literature, or criticism in the country Y, where X is most widely spoken.
Okay.
In the first category, the prize went to the poet Jeet Narayan.
Okay.
In the second, to literary scholar Michel von Kampen.
Wow.
I think I've mispronounced that. Michel van Kampen.
No idea where this question is going, but please go ahead.
The prize was never awarded again.
Okay.
So obviously my question is about the language X and which country Y, right? So I'll just give you a few more details about that. Asha Rajkumar, who wrote under the pen name Chandni, who passed away from leukemia in 2021, wrote poems in the language X. Musician Raj Mohan used lyrics in the language X along with Hindi in his music. In fact, X is the primary language used in the Batak Gana form of music.
Okay.
So identify the language X. I'd be very impressed if you did. And If not, you can at least tell me or try to guess which country we are talking about.
This sounds like a country that either briefly existed and was, I don't know, later subsumed into some other nation, or maybe an independence movement that didn't come to fruition.
Okay, it's actually neither.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I wonder why they would stop the award after 1 year. It's very interesting.
No, I'm just using that as an impetus to get into the question so that I have a stage to set the question in.
Okay.
So I'll just review the basic points again.
All right.
The literary prize was named after the poet Rahman Khan.
Mm-hmm.
So there are two awards, one for contribution specific to a language and the other contribution specific to the country in which that language is spoken.
Okay.
So the award for the contribution to the language went to poet Jeet Narayan, and for contribution to the country's linguistics, literature, and criticism went to Michel von Kampen.
Okay.
The prize was obviously never awarded. Not obviously, was never awarded again. Examples of other people who perform in the same space as with that particular language: Asha Rajkumar, who wrote under the pen name Chandni.
Mm-hmm.
She wrote poems in the language X. Musician Raj Mohan used lyrics in X along with Hindi in his music. In fact, if you just look at a cultural point of view, X is the primary language used in the Baithak Gana form of music.
Okay.
Baithak Gana, I'm guessing, means, sit down and sing.
Yeah, I think Baithak Gana does mean sitting and singing, quite literally translates to that. Rahman Khan. No, give me some clue. Give me some other clue. I'm very lost.
This language is not specific. It's basically a hodgepodge. It has contributions from various languages. The primary three being Bhojpuri, Awadhi, and Hindustani, which is what we call as Hindi Urdu.
Mm-hmm.
And to a lesser degree from Maghi, Maithili, and Braj.
Okay.
So there's another contribution to this, which I will leave as the next clue.
This feels very Gangetic plain.
Mm-hmm.
A country where it is spoken primarily. I'm assuming the country is still around.
Yes.
Makes me think Nepal. I don't know.
No. Okay. So I'll go on to my second clue. So I mentioned that the language was based off Bhojpuri, Avdhi, and Hindustani, with contributions from Magahi, Maithili, and Braj.
Okay.
It also contains influence and vocabulary taken from Dutch, English, Portuguese, and Sranan Tongo.
I was going to go somewhere like, because Nepal was not actually, honestly, a very good guess. A better guess would have been somewhere in, I want to say Mauritius.
No, not exactly, but you are on the right track at least.
There are only two possible options for this, largely speaking. It's either an African nation or it's a Central American, South American nation.
Okay.
Am I closer with Mauritius or am I far away?
No, you want a geographical? I'll have to look at how many kilometers away to say closer or farther. But
No, I meant like, is it in Africa or is it in the Americas?
It's in South America.
Okay, so then South America could be. You have Trinidad and Tobago. I'm including the Central America also in this. Trinidad and Tobago is there. There's Jamaica.
So my next clue was going to be Baithak Gana is very similar to what we call as chutney music.
Mm-hmm.
And chutney music originated in Trinidad and Tobago.
Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, so was it Trinidad and Tobago the country in question?
No. It's not Trinidad and Tobago because that one is chutney music.
Okay.
Chutney music, Trinidad, Tobago. Baithak Gana is which other language? Which other country?
Is Suriname.
Very good. So what would the language be? Do you know what the language is?
That's the extent of my knowledge of Suriname.
Okay, fair enough.
It has a lot of colonial past. I have no idea what the language is.
So the language is known as Sarnami Hindustani.
Wow.
As in Surinamese Hindustani.
That's a beautiful name.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful name. It's called Sarnami Hindustani. So the thing goes that when slavery, or at least African slavery, was abolished in Suriname, the Dutch did not have sources for labor, and they turned to British India. And indentured laborers were sent from British India to work in plantations on a kind of 5-year contract. The 5 years being, hell for them.
Okay.
But at the end of the 5 years, they were told that they could either go back to India or they could settle in Suriname permanently.
Got it.
And there were people from a lot of parts of Bengal, Bihar, and also that's where this hodgepodge language came up, because there were people who spoke so many different languages that they finally made an own language for themselves, which they ended up calling as Sarnami Hindustani. So it's considered the mother tongue of Indo-Surinamese people, mainly spoken in the Nikiri and Saramaka districts of Suriname. And due to migration, it's also heard in the Netherlands Antilles, Guyana, the US, Canada, and French Guyana.
Okay.
Baithak Gana is a form of music originating in Suriname by the Indo-Surinamese community. Baithak is like a social gathering. So it's a mix of Hindustani folk music with Caribbean influences. So the answer I was looking for was Sarnami Hindustani. I found it's a very lovely name, Sarnami Hindustani.
It is a beautiful name, yeah.
Somehow very Indianizes Suriname,
Yeah. I mean, I do know of the Central American connections to India. It has cultural, food, language, all of those connections. But I did not know this specific one, and it's a rather beautiful one, yeah. The only reason I actually said Mauritius was because I know a lot of expatriates from, well, I guess in that case they weren't expatriates. I don't know if they were indentured laborers or maybe in some cases slaves who were being transported from the Gangetic Plain went to Mauritius, if I'm not wrong.
No, it's not just the Mauritius. I think Fiji also.
So I think some of these island nations, well, Mauritius and Fiji are in different directions, but yes, some of these places did have people who ended up there from that part. But yeah, you're right. I think even Central America had that. And Suriname Hindustani, I'm going to remember that. That's fine.
Sarnami Hindustani.
Saranami, my bad. Saranami Hindustani.
Sarnami Hindustani. I also cheated a little bit. Let me just clarify that. When I mentioned that Asha Rajkumar, who passed away from leukemia in 2021, who was a poet, her name, even though I'm pronouncing it as Asha Rajkumar, the Rajkumar portion is spelled Radjkoemar, which is a Dutch version of writing Rajkumar.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
I like how these things, they change and translate over time and space.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
I am so happy today because this is such a perfect segue moment.
Oh God, I've given you a segue, haven't I?
Speaking of things that translate over time and space, a connection to India also, actually. I am going to take you to Indonesia.
Okay.
And I'll tell you about the connection to India in a bit.
Okay.
I'm going to take you to Indonesia and I'm going to tell you about two mountains there, Mount Sindoro and Mount Sumbing.
Okay.
Mount Sindoro and Mount Sumbing are very closely connected to something that is prevalent across India as a cultural experience for a lot of us who went through the schooling process of India. Okay. So Mount Sindoro and Mount Sumbing are somehow connected to something a lot of Indian kids went through in their school days. And again, I might be coming from a privileged background, so maybe this is in the English medium schools in our urban locations. But yes, at least in the circles that I grew up in, this seemed to be almost a universal occurrence, a universal experience for children in India. The funny and the interesting and the most exciting trivia in this whole thing is that it turns out that Indonesian children also do the same thing that Indian children do. So can you tell me how Mount Sindoro and Mount Sumbing are connected to this particular experience of both Indian and Indonesian children?
Okay, if you hadn't specifically mentioned the mountains, I would have said Wren and Martin textbooks.
Explain that.
No, there was a famous Wren and Martin textbooks, English textbooks for...
Yeah.
No, so I thought that might be the shared experience. No, it's not.
No. I think Wren and Martin showed up in our lives when we were in secondary school.
Yeah.
I'm talking much younger age than that. I'm talking possibly primary and maybe even pre-primary.
Much younger age. I don't even remember that part of my life.
But you do remember this, I can assure you.
Also be aware that even though I did study in a CBSE school, I did that in the Middle East. So I'm not sure all your experience would translate to mine. But let me see. Mount Sindoro. First thing that came to mind was Sindoor.
I actually did look up the etymology. I don't think it is directly connected to Sindoor.
A lot of Indonesian words and names have Sanskrit origins, so possible that there might be something.
I couldn't find it, but yeah, maybe.
No, you'll have to give me a clue. I have nothing springing to mind.
Okay, that's fair. Mount Sindoro and Mount Sumbing are located in central Java and are sometimes cited as an inspiration for the work of an artist, Tino Sidin. This artist is from Yogyakarta. I've never quite known how to pronounce that.
Yogyakarta.
So Yogyakarta, this artist from that particular place, which is, by the way, in case you don't know, in Indonesia. His one art piece that is very popular is considered to be inspired by Mount Sindor and Mount Sumbing. I don't think there is concrete proof that it was inspired by those two mountains, but a lot of people assume that that's where it comes from.
Does this have to do with the fact that the first thing that we learn to draw are two mountains with slightly overlapping and a sun in between?
The Yogyakartan artist, Tino Sidin, was a host of a children's drawing program in Indonesian. I'm going to probably butcher it, which is spelled as Gemar Menggambar. Okay. And it aired in Indonesia in the 1980s.
Okay.
He is known to have produced this one particular piece of drawing which contained iconic twin mountains. There's a river or road kind of thing coming down from it, and a house in it. And a house and a tree
I've
and
drawn
birds.
That. Yeah. My son drew that
All
today
of
morning.
us have drawn this.
Yeah.
All of us have drawn this. There's a Wikipedia page. You can actually Google this. There are a lot of articles about this.
Are you kidding me?
But there's a Wikipedia page called Twin Mountain Drawing. And this is a universal experience in Indonesia. And the thing is, they were inspired by this one artist in 1980s who drew it on. So, okay, I understand why Indonesian kids are doing it.
Why are we doing it?
I'm mind blown at the fact that Indian kids are doing it. And I have no idea where the connection exists. I have not been able to find the connection. And I'm putting it out in the universe right now. If anybody who hears this podcast and has any idea of how this connection has been established, please tell us. I'm dying of curiosity. Internet did not quench my curiosity.
Are we sure it's not like a universal thing?
Could be. Now, that could be a universal experience. But here's what is interesting. Now, you grew up in the Middle East.
Yeah.
There is no reason for you to be drawing two mountains and a river and
True.
house and sun in that particular order. Like, you should have been drawing sand dunes, I guess, like or the sea. Like, there is no reason for you to be doing what you did.
That does make sense.
Yeah, I grew up in Mumbai. Again, no reason to be drawing mountains and a sun coming over it.
Wow.
That makes absolutely zero sense. And it is a universal experience.
Okay, we really have to deep dive on this. I need to find out.
It blew my mind because I could not, at least there's a Wikipedia article which explains the Indonesian connection. There's nothing on the internet which explains the Indian connection, except, I mean, all of us know it. It's almost like this shared experience that we never quite really tried to figure out or understand why we do it.
Yeah.
Except there's one beautiful piece of stand-up by Biswa where he talks about like this thing that all of us do. And he's joking about it. But of course, he's only doing a stand-up bit. He doesn't do a historical or socio-cultural deep dive into it.
Wow, I'm just blown away. No, there are certain things like I've read about this is a bit of a tangent, but I've read about certain experiences that we find universally across cultures, and we have no clear reason as to why it's there. For example, you'll find some form of dragons in almost every culture. The fear of ghosts is there in every culture. And not just the fear of ghosts, it's that most of us always think of ghosts in the same kind of way. They're always usually pale. They're always usually pale, white-faced, with black eyes or something like that. So that's also a depiction that you find in almost every culture. Where did that come from? Similarly, there's a concept of the woman in white. It's a specific kind of ghost story, urban legends, again, that you find in every culture. It's not just like, okay, the ghost wears white and it's a woman. It's a fact that it's usually a woman who's died tragically, killed by a lover or something like that. So there are a lot of these kind of trends which we find across, and almost all of us have a flood myth in our mythology. Even I think the Gilgamesh talks about the great floods. The Bible talks about the great floods. Hindu mythology also has a great flood.
There's a flood, there's a virgin birth, So these are things that are pretty standard across. Yeah.
Yeah. So is it like there was one civilization from which kind of came up with this and then it kind of disseminated, or because why would you have dragons in almost every culture? There's the
I'm
like
just picturing this little cute child 10,000 years ago drawing a mountain and a river with like a stone tool onto his tablet. And somehow for the next 10,000 years, we all decide to copy him.
you said that in jest, but I think going and looking at cave paintings to see if anybody's actually done this as a cave painting would be useful. Because if it's in that, then this guy has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, but at least I read this, of course, this Wikipedia page. There were a couple of links to it for 2 Indonesian news articles, which, of course, the translated version I did read. And they all seem to be certain of the fact that Indonesian children, at least, seem to be having been inspired by this 1980s artist and this art program on kids' TV.
Wow.
All of us have seen these Bob Ross kind of shows.
Art Attack.
Art Attack was one for Indians for the longest time. So, yeah, and I'm so blown away when I found this piece of trivia. Though I must say the little bit of difference is when we draw it, we usually have a river coming down from the mountains.
Yes.
I think in the Indonesian version of it, it's a road that seems to be going into the horizon.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but it looks pretty similar, except maybe it doesn't curve as much.
Okay.
And the same like that bird thing with we draw the little 2 curved lines. Yeah.
Yeah, like an R, like a sideways R or something like that. Yeah.
And the sun with the sun rays.
Nice.
Yeah, oh my God, like it blew my mind that this exists. And by the way, we were talking about cave paintings. And this is nothing to do with trivia, but I just thought it was an interesting thing that I read somewhere, some quote, who said that it's so interesting that the one thing AI art gets wrong is hands. And the first thing that children learn to do is do a finger painting or hand painting.
Is to draw around a hand.
Or even oldest paintings that exist in caves are of handprints on the walls.
Yeah, handprints or outlines of hands, and yeah.
And the one thing that AI messes up the most when we ask it to draw a picture, it's the hands. And I don't know what it says. I think it is some deep poetic thing over there, but I like the implications of it.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's not digress too much. Vineet, your question.
Okay, great. So speaking of shared experiences between countries and whatnot.
Ooh, amazing.
Okay, so I'm going to take you to mathematics, and you were talking about primary school. I'm going to take you into, I think, secondary school would be, I don't remember exactly when I learned this, but I vividly remember learning this. So you remember the quadratic formula?
Minus b is equal to so minus b square minus 4ac.
X is equal to minus b plus or minus.
Oh my God, what am I saying?
Yes.
Let me. I'm going to edit this. X is equal to minus b plus or minus b square minus 4ac over 2a. I know it. Yes. Megha ma'am, don't get mad.
So in elementary algebra, the quadratic formula is a closed form expression describing the solutions of a quadratic equation. Given a general quadratic equation of the form ax square plus bx plus c equals 0, with x representing an unknown and a, b, and c coefficients representing known real or complex numbers with a not equal to 0, the values of x satisfying the equation called roots can be found using this quadratic formula.
Mm-hmm.
Worldwide, this is mostly known as the quadratic formula.
Mm-hmm.
However, there are exceptions.
Okay.
What is this formula known as in Brazil?
Okay. Brazil seems to have fun twist on the quadratic formula, I guess.
Yes, they have it. They call it by a specific name. I want you to tell me what name that is. This is a little bit of a general knowledge question, as you know it or you don't, but I should probably be able to give you some clues.
Promise me this. The answer will be fun.
The answer is fun, yes.
Okay, yeah. I'm in for the ride. Okay. Double X. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what could the 2 values of X be. Is there some Portuguese element to it?
No.
Because I was trying to think roots, whatever the Portuguese word for root is, for a plant's root is.
Okay, so I'll just give you an example. I mentioned that there are exceptions to the rule. It's called the quadratic formula in almost worldwide. There are certain exceptions. One exception is Brazil. I like saying Brazil. And the other is India. So in India, it is known as, among English-speaking circles, as the quadratic formula. Among non-English, or at least in other circles, mathematical circles, It's also known as Sridharacharya's formula, after the Indian mathematician Sridhara of the, I think, 8th or 9th century.
Okay.
I want you to think of, or maybe try and guess, a mathematician who may have been credited with coming up with this.
Oh, so is it named after that mathematician?
Yes. Practically the only two places in the world where this formula is known after people. So in India, it is Sridharacharya's formula.
If it's not Sridhara, the only name that, or at least the first name that comes to mind, is always Aryabhatta.
Oh, it's not Aryabhatta, but you are close.
Or some other mathematician from ancient India.
Mhm.
Probably gonna kick myself once you tell the answer, because I probably know this name, but no, I can't think of it right now.
You do know this name. You do definitely know this name. The reason, actually, see, we call it Sridharacharya's formula is because he described this in a different way. Like, he didn't use the root square of it. He mentioned it as an equation with both sides of it. However, he himself had based it off a now lost work of another mathematician.
Okay.
It's his name that I'm asking.
He based it off of the work of a mathematician who predates him and whose work is lost.
Yes, whose work is lost. But because he's mentioned in that, that's the reason we know that he came up with it first.
Are we still talking ancient India?
Yes, it is an Indian mathematician that we're talking about.
Is there anything else this mathematician has done? Because right now...
This list is huge.
Okay, give me maybe one or two things I might be able to remember.
So this person had a version of proving the Pythagorean theorem.
Mm-hmm.
And that proof is sometimes called as the Hindu proof.
Oh, I know this. Is this...
He very famously drew the proof and underneath wrote, "Behold."
in English, BEHOLD.
No, the translation is in English.
Eureka.
Yeah.
It's Bhaskar. Is it the mathematician Bhaskar?
Yes, it is the mathematician. In Brazil, the quadratic equation is known as the Bhaskar equation.
Oh my God, that's insane.
Practically the only place in the world where it's known as the Bhaskara equation.
Nice.
So a little bit of background. So the earliest known association of Bhaskara with the quadratic equation in Brazilian texts was in 1909 by an influential math pre-college algebra textbook called Elementos de Álgebra.
Okay.
Pérez y Marín, the author of this book, was born in Spain in 1858, moved to Brazil in 1893, spending the rest of his life there. He's recognized as being a respected math teacher and prolific author. So in the book on the resolution of the quadratic equation proof, Pérez y Marín shows the quadratic formula deduced from completing squares and connects the formula with a footnote in Portuguese. It's written in Portuguese, the translation of which reads, "This method of resolution, notable by its simplicity, is due to Bhaskara, an Indian mathematician." So since then, this equation has been known as the Bhaskara equation in Brazil.
Wow.
Not even in India do we call it the Bhaskara equation. We call it the Sridharacharya equation or the quadratic formula.
Yeah.
Like Brazil is the only place where it's known by the name the Bhaskara equation. My next clue was going to be that there's a 1981 satellite named after him.
That's amazing.
And we've had a question about Bhaskara on the show before.
One of these days, I'm going to go back and listen to all our episodes and revise that trivia.
Just so that we can remember what we've asked here.
No, but that is a phenomenal piece of trivia. There are some questions that when we ask in an episode, I am 100% sure we're not going to forget.
No.
Actually, so far, if I may say so myself today, all our questions have been really good.
Yeah, good.
I might risk that streak with our last question, but I gotta ask it because this question just made me giggle a little, and I love questions which make me giggle.
No.
Okay. Have you heard of this software called Winamp?
Yes, I have. It's a music MP3 player software.
A child of the 90s, you of course know Winamp.
Yes, highly customizable.
It is a media player that was on Microsoft Windows, and it was originally developed by this company Nullsoft, and they later sold it to AOL in 1999 for $80 million. completely unrelated to trivia, but my God, a fair chunk of money in the 99 for just a media player, like literally just piece of software. It's pretty cool. Anyway, so those of us who remember Winamp remember simple features like, the equalizer where you could mess around with things, you could change the bass, the treble.
Yeah, the skins.
Skins, exactly. That's what I was going to get to next. The Winamp skins were considered a pretty strong USP for the software, right?
Yeah.
Now, coming to the question. Winamp has had multiple versions, as have most softwares over the years. Winamp 1 was released June 7th, 1997. Winamp 2 was released on September 8th, 1998.
Okay.
The next major version, Winamp 3, spelled it as Winamp and the A was small, Winamp 3 MP3 at the end of it.
Oh, okay.
It was released on August 9th, 2002.
Okay.
After that came Winamp 5. If you are a keen listener, you noticed that I missed a number in between.
4.
Oh, Vineet, on fire there. I like it.
Really?
Not messing up your math, unlike me.
Okay.
So, that was, by the way, my segue also, the math. Okay, so Winamp did not release version 4. And I don't know what their internal reasons were, but they did put out a statement which was pretty, almost in a comedic tone, explaining why they decided not to release the 4th edition or the 4th version. Do you want to take a guess as to why Winamp said they didn't release the 4th version, which is pretty much a joke or let's say something meant to be humorous?
Anything to do with the MP4 format?
No, nothing to do with MP4, because Winamp 3 did kind of integrate MP3 into its name. So no, it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, no, but MP4 was a video format, right?
Ah, smart. That would be an interesting assumption. I don't think that had anything to do with the real reason, and definitely not to do with the joke reason.
3, 4, 5, something. Is it like a silly 7, 8, 9 kind of joke?
It is a very silly joke. It is maybe not as common as a 7, 8, 9 joke, but it is very relevant to the case of Winamp.
Okay.
I would suggest you think about what we spoke about, the features of Winamp that were popular or what made it very popular.
The skins were very popular.
Exactly.
Because I remember everybody used Winamp for the skins. We used to download our skins and then change them every other day just to make it look different.
Exactly. And that is the biggest clue I can give you towards the answer.
Oh God. This is going to be torture for me. I hate these kind of questions of yours. Because I can never guess them. So skins. So the MP5 is a skin for MP4, or Winamp 5 is a skin for MP4, Winamp 4, or something like that.
And there are moments in our podcast where I'm like, oh my God, what a smart man I talk to. And then there's other moments where I'm like, why are you so smart? Like, come down to my level. Let's talk at my level. Let's talk at the level where jokes exist just for comedic purpose and they don't make a lot of sense beyond that.
I'm not somebody whose sense of comedy is as keen as yours. Seeing the comedy in that is not something like mine is very base comedy. Fart jokes and things like that.
I like the Winamp reference there. You have a base comedy. Okay. You said the skins were popular, right? And what was the version number?
4.
So if you were to make a stupid juvenile...
4 skins. Oh, God. This is a 4-skin joke. Oh, my God. Oh, why do I even...
Regarding the omission of version 4, Nullsoft joked that nobody wants to see a Winamp 4 skin.
Why am I laughing at this?
Oh, because this is a great joke and you understand the greatness of the joke.
It's so puerile. I mean, like, it's so childish. God. But I have to give it to them. It is pretty good wordplay.
Yeah, it was right there. So there is no official reason for why they decided to skip it, or at least none that I could find. But yeah, Winamp foreskin was something they did not advertise. So who wants to change their Winamp foreskin every single day?
Oh God, stop.
Yeah, I don't know if this has to be marked as explicit.
You probably will have to.
whoever does not want to listen to explicit content is missing out on a great joke then.
That was a great question to end or kind of bookend the episode.
Yes.
Let's go back to the audience question that I had asked at the beginning of the episode. This was a question sent to us by our regular listener, Mr. Arjun Srikumar. All About Eve is a 1950 film written and directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz, starring Betty Davis, Anne Baxter, and a relatively unknown Marilyn Monroe in one of her first film roles. The film went on to garner 14 Oscar nominations, finally winning 6. What is unique about the film's Oscar nominations? Aditya, do you have any idea what we're talking about?
Marilyn Monroe. I think this was Monroe's first Oscar nomination. So was this everybody's first Oscar nomination?
No.
Was this Monroe's first? I think this was Monroe's first.
No, she was not nominated.
Oh, she wasn't nominated.
She wasn't nominated.
No, I have no idea. Sorry, which were the categories that they were nominated for?
Oh, so that's the answer. So what categories were they nominated for?
Okay.
So what is peculiar about that or unique about it?
Can I ask how many Oscars were they nominated for?
14.
They were nominated for 14 Oscars?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's a shot in the dark. Are all of these Oscar categories discontinued now or changed their name or something like that?
Nothing like that?
No idea. No idea at all.
Okay, so this is one of those GK kind of questions, but I really like the answer, so that's why I included it. And shout out to Arjun Srikumar for sending it to us. This was the only film to date to have 4 female acting nominations: 2 for Best Actress, Davis and Baxter, and 2 for Supporting Actress for Celeste Holm and Thelma Ritter.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. Fun fact: none of them won.
Okay.
Only George Sanders won for Best Supporting Actor.
Oh, the men always swoop in there. Okay.
Yeah. So before I put out my usual spiel, what's your pop culture recommendation?
So for today's pop culture recommendation, I'm going to do something I don't usually do. I'm going to recommend a book. I'm more a movie guy, but this book, it reminded me why I love reading books as a child. I loved reading books as a child, and it literally kept me up at night. Now I use books to fall asleep. Literally, I open up a book so that I can fall asleep quickly. This book ruined my sleep for 3 nights straight, and I finished it. And this author has been guilty of doing this with every single one of her books. This is The Last Queen. And her previous 2 books were Palace of Illusions and Forest of Enchantments. In case I haven't recommended them in the past, consider this a recommendation for those 2 books as well.
Mm-hmm.
Chitra Banerjee Devakurni is the name of the author. I don't know what is it in her writing style, and this isn't necessarily saying that this is great art. I'm nobody to make that judgment, because I have also found books like a Dan Brown novel to be something very tough to put down. It just keeps you so engaged, and this woman does this with Indian mythology and in this case Indian history, or at least historical fiction. So both Palace of Illusion and Forest of Enchantment deal with Ramayana and Mahabharata, rather the other way around. And in this case, The Last Queen deals with the last queen of Punjab.
Oh, it's a tragic story.
Her son, Ranjit Singh, was the last person. I guess this is a spoiler, but also history, so not my fault if I'm spoiling it for you. Her son was the one who lost, or rather, was the one who signed the papers over, or signed the Kohinoor over to the queen.
To the East India Company, who then in turn gifted it to Queen Victoria.
Apologies. I feel like I didn't read the book. Vineet read the book. Yeah, and the name of the queen is Jind Kaur, Maharani Jind Kaur. I also, something about this book where, whenever you read about historical fiction, either because it's fiction, so the authors take liberty and make them glorious, or make them really, really despicable. In this case, somehow Jind Kaur was both at various points, where like at some points you're rooting for her, and at some points you're just like, oh my God, how can you be this ridiculous? And I guess that's part of her charm, of the author's charm.
She was a charioteer's daughter or something like that. She was a common woman, right?
She was the daughter of the person who was, I think, the guard of the dogs. I'm forgetting, dog keeper.
Yeah,
sorry.
Something like that. She was a commoner's daughter, yeah.
And she rose to prominence, apparently very beautiful.
Maharani Jind Kaur was also, I think, forced by the British East India Company to never see her son again. And she was banished to, I think, somewhere in Nepal.
Yeah. The book covers all of that. She moved from prison to prison.
Okay.
Pretty heartbreaking part of history. You can also see at some points, and while these things are much bigger than one person, you can also see how human beings falter and these missteps that they make. And I think this book really exemplifies that. Sorry, I've waxed eloquent about this book. Definitely read it if you like me have struggled to read a book and finish it quickly enough in the last few years. Hopefully this book does it for you like it did for me.
And fantastic. I'll have to check out this book because I haven't personally read it. I'd definitely like to see that kind of reinterpretation of history in a fictional aspect. I have been on a kind of a nostalgic route these past few days. So I ended up rereading. So I have an entire hall upstairs which is dedicated to just books.
Lucky you.
Yeah, so there are a lot of books which I've collected over the past 30, 40 years, many of which I have not gone back to in like maybe 10 years or something like that. So there's a book, however, I keep going back to every few years. And that book is Naomi's Room by Jonathan Aycliffe. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you before. I may have mentioned it on the podcast before, but Naomi's Room is a horror novel. And when people say that they usually don't get scared you're reading novels, this is the book I refer them to.
Okay.
This is a really good book for people who are looking for a book to actually scare the bejesus out of them.
Okay.
So it's really, really creepy book. And it's not a big read. You can probably, like me, if you're like me, you can just read in one sitting in a day. So that's an easily digestible book. So go to check that out. There's another movie called Jai Bhim, which I would recommend. It's a fantastic movie based on a true story, and it stars actor Surya from the Tamil industry. It's basically a Tamil film, but it's been dubbed into multiple languages. You can catch it on OTT platforms in India. Definitely go watch it. It's a wrenching kind of watch. It hits you much harder because you know that this is a true story. This actually happened. And the unimaginable horrors that certain parts of society have to face. So I'm not going to spoil anything. Just go watch Jai Bhim. And the third one I would recommend is a movie called Dies Irae. It's a horror film. It's the Dies Irae is a Latin term, literally meaning the day of wrath. And this is a Malayalam movie by director Rahul Sadashivan, who has now become kind of the go-to horror movie director in Malayalam. His two previous movies have been exceptional. Bhutakalam, which literally can be translate to the past. It translates to the past. Bhutakalam translates to the past. It's available on Sony Live. It was an OTT only release. And again, when I'm looking for horror movies to actually scare people, this is one of the movies I recommend. It's a slow burn, but the climax makes it worth it. And I always describe Bhutakalam to people as what a real life haunting might actually look like. This is the most realistic haunting movie probably ever put on film.
Okay.
That's all for this episode. Thank you for listening in. You can connect with us and reach out to us for questions and other things on our socials, which are in the episode description and right here somewhere. We'd love to hear from you, so connect with us. We appreciate your support and look forward to sharing more episodes with you in the future. Thanks again for tuning in and have a great day.
See you guys next week.
Blank face. You have to give me something to work with here.